what are your thoughts on the red pill? Do you consider yourself red pill or partially red pill?
I'm not ideological. I don't even know what the official definition of it is. Obviously, I'm aware of the space, but I'm not even sure what the official definition is. I'm not ideological. So I like to argue each point based on its merit, not what ideology it's attached to.
Yeah, but is there anything from the red pill that you identify with, or you?
How would you define? How would you define the red pill?
Well, it's a vast space. It's very hard to put it. But let's say let's try to reduce to 2-3 things. So they're all about empowering men. That would be I think number one. Now the way they do it is to tell men that they are the ones who should take initiative. They should be responsible, and somehow that's my view of the red pill. Okay, somehow women are just there. I wouldn't say to serve, but to have a secondary place, within the couple environment. So they are there. They matter a lot, but man is number one, and they're always not as, let's say, as vital as the man.
Yeah, I understand your question. These are two very different points. That's what I'm saying. We have to argue each point based on its merit, not do I subscribe to some ideology that's rather vaguely defined. So empowering men, yes. Disempowering women, no. I'm not one of those guys who's for men and against women. Absolutely not. I'm very much for men, 100%. But I don't think men are above women in any way, shape, or form. We're very different in a lot of ways, for sure. But if you want to have a healthy relationship, it has to be on eye level. Now, in certain situations, she wants the man to be the leader. In certain situations, it's going to be a negotiation on eye level. And even what does leadership mean? That's a discussion in and of itself. We can touch on that in a second if you like, because I have a couple of very, very interesting ideas on that. But I'm not one of those guys who are like, women dare to serve men. That's basic nonsense. That doesn't fulfill you. That won't make you happy, really. It's going to give you a little ego kick, and then it's going to leave you feeling very empty. And trust me, I'm not virtue signaling here. This is practical. You don't want to be either the tyrant or the slave in the relationship. Now, what happens is most men perceive themselves as the slave in the relationship. Now, some men treat women like shit, for sure. But a lot of men actually perceive themselves as a slave, and they look up to them. So we need to, boom, level up. Some then go too far, and they're like, because they've been hurt. And I have empathy for that. I have empathy for men who've been hurt in the past. I mean, part of the reason maybe I'm so positive towards women is because I haven't had that much bad things happening to me from women, And I'm not saying that it was nothing. Really, it's not nothing. It's not nothing, as Peterson would say. But I'm very positive because I like to heal things as they come up. I don't judge. And I think there's a lot of, talking about the red pill space, I'll never talk bad about anybody by name. I think there's a lot of creators, influencers, whatever you will, in that space who are doing great work in terms of empowering men. A lot of people who are doing great work and who have great intent, who are really trying to help. And then there's a small minority who are just lost and just idiots. But I would say a lot of guys are trying to help really good, trying to help men, empower men, and that's awesome. The problem is there's paradigms of thinking. The first paradigm is I'm way too agreeable. Then I become disagreeable. Then I become too disagreeable. I become too much this full-time alpha tough guy. And I completely neglect the feminine side that I have in me. And then I realize, it's about integrating both. That's what it's ultimately about. But most men, yes, they need that. They need the first paradigm, which is a lot more masculinity. But that doesn't mean, you could tell what to do. But it's about agreements. If you want to be fulfilled as an intellectually capable man, the relationship has to be on eye level. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be in a relationship with somebody who's unnecessarily causing conflict or what have you, but you want to be with somebody who's open-minded, who's willing for you to be proactive and take the initiative. But yeah, it's not thinking in terms of ideologies is always going to lead to issues. I think we're better off as people if we talk about the point based on its merits.
Yeah. So on one of the articles I read about you, I think it was a news talk or something like that. The name of I need to put that on the table. The name of Andrew Tate was there. How comfortable were you with that?
With what specifically? That they compared me?
Well, Andrew Tate is not the most popular person in the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was thinking, like, how would you relate to that? Or you just think, oh, this is an awful comparison, or I'm so proud of that. Something in the middle. No.
I'm trying to give you my honest answer. Let me think for a second. I definitely didn't think it was bad, because if you read, it was Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and me. I was like, all right, okay, that's cool. So look, there's not a person on earth that I agree with everything with that they say, right? Not a person on earth. If you're a critically thinking man, there's not a single other man or woman on earth where you will agree to 100% with what they say. Do I think that people like Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson have a lot of value to share? And they're very different in and of itself. They're not the same person, obviously, but I'm just grouping them for the sake of the argument, for simplicity's sake, so we can move on. Do I think they share a lot of value and they're empowering and they share a positive message? 100%. Do I agree with every single thing? No.
Yeah. So I would say that you were okay with being in the middle of them, despite not agreeing with everything.
Well, I was in the middle of them in terms of an article that was constructed by somebody. So they grammatically put me in the middle of a sentence there. I would never dare to put myself on the same level as Jordan Peterson in any way, shape, or form, right? I was like, being confident is one thing, but as Mike Tyson said when he was talking to Muhammad Ali, there's a moment every head must bow. And I'm not comparing myself to Mike Tyson either, but I would never compare myself to Jordan Peterson. He's a legend. He's such a hero. He's such a hero in so many ways. So I think it's cool that they throw me in there with it. I think it's awesome. And there's a lot of great messages that Andrew Tate shares. Some points where I'm like, nah. Same with Jordan Peterson, even though I would say with Jordan Peterson, I have an even higher degree of overlap. But I think both in their essence are sharing a very positive message, even though you're never going to agree with 100% of what an individual says.
Yeah, of course. So once I was compared to Michel Houellebecq. I don't know if you know this French writer. So I have a book about the time I spent in Budapest, which is composed of 69 chapters, and every chapter is a date I have with a girl. It was 69 by chance. I'm telling you, it was very nice when I was counting. When I was
like,
yeah, excellent, like a Kabbalistic number, as they say, 69. And when I got a review that was compared to Michel Houellebecq. So Michel Houellebecq, just in short, is a French writer. He writes a lot about sex, okay, and politics. And he's very concerned with the way that Europe is being taken over by Islam, and is very much politically incorrect. And in the middle, he talks a lot about his sexual encounters with women, prostitutes, though I never have any prostitute on that book, and it's not my thing. But anyway, I was compared to that. Now, he is an excellent writer, but he's should I say that in public? He is not the nicest person. Let's put it like that. So I was happy with the fact that I was compared to him as a writer. With the person, I was okay with, but it didn't make my day. That makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me at all. That article didn't faze me whatsoever. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. Did I feel zero emotions towards it? Probably not, because we as human beings we do feel emotions. But I thought it was entertaining. Everybody has the right to an opinion, and if you start expressing some opinion, the cool thing is we don't have anything to hide. Like I'm very, very transparent with what I believe and what I don't believe. Even though when you're on social media, you have to be a little bit cautious on how you phrase things, obviously. But I'm very transparent with what I believe in terms of dating and relationships. And I believe in kindness. I believe in a relationship on eye level, but I do believe men lack masculinity. Absolutely. And then when I was invited onto News Talk Radio and I talked to them, that's exactly what I said. It's about women like men who are nice, and they lack masculinity. It's both.